What's up?
Nice. Nice. Yes. Hello. Welcome to the first day of spring on Monday Night Live Chat. Today is the day. It is the day that we all love as window cleaners. And we start thinking about how busy we are going to be for the next, oh my gosh, 6, 7, 8 months. So it's a very, very good day. It's like Christmas for window cleaners, really. Here, it's a little bit more like end of April, it really gets going. But at the same time, for many of us, that first day of spring is like so much marketing will go out. People start calling and scheduling. I know my phone has been blowing up for local schedules for customers. So it's a good day.
Yeah. And if you're here in the chat, tell us what your temperature is and what your state and city is. Just check in with that. We want as many comments as possible. And one other thing is, you're here on SteveO, the Window Cleaners channel. He is 21 subscribers away. 21 subscribers away from 30,000 subscribers. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, which I know a lot of you aren't, make sure to go ahead and follow him, because 21. We're going to get over 30K tonight.
Yes.
By the way, I want to say,
I almost made a post in Pro Window Cleaning, and I almost was like, give me subs. And I was like, I don't want to do it. I just want it to be organic. But I do want that. Every 10,000 is kind of a fun mark, even though subscribers and all that for every other social media thing has gone through the roof. It's still a cool thing to have. Kind of.
Well, I like how you said, every 10,000, like peons like me have even 10,000. So it's cool. It's whatever.
Hey, it's goals. It's goals for life. Don't worry. You'll be fine.
Yeah. Comment. Everybody comment. We're going to blow this one up. This is going to be the biggest and most bestest live that we've ever done. I want to say what's up to KT's window cleaning, of course. Hiking, what's going on? JR Unknowns here. Jordan, Katie, the WC. Victor Garul, of course. Who else do we have here? Carlos is here, of course. And I have to give mad props to Evan for being first. And he is in Canada. So first in Canada. So pretty good.
Nice. I always forget that KD is in Florida, and this is like they have been in busy season, and they're looking forward to kind of like taking a break. I always forget about that, 'cause I feel like it's like the one area that is like that, but I don't know. I mean, I've never cleaned in the South. Maybe Atlanta is like that too.
I would love to know when snowbirds leave, because there's got to be like a snowbird season, right? Like everybody leaves April 1st. There's got to be like a date on that too, right?
It's got to be like, I think that April 1st is a big day. Like most people will go down for January, February, March, and then boom, April 1st, get back to real life.
Yeah.
So I think. Yeah.
By the way, Domix Alive. I
hello
screwed that one up. Is from Germany. So hello from Germany.
Nice.
We got Canada, Germany. We got Boston, Mass in the house. Vancouver.
Oh, I want to answer this question right away, because I always get these questions about. This is from JR Unknown. Favorite shade of polarized sunglasses for indoor and out to look at glass. Now, I don't know if I'd really think of them as like needing to look at glass with them, but I've had the Oakleys for a long time, and just a polarized lens are just kind of
polarized makes a big difference, though, because then you can see that it like takes away the reflection, so you see more of like what's on the glass.
Do you want to see all that though, or do you just want to take it off and look at it the way the customers look at it? So that's what I do.
Residential or commercial? That's true.
That's true. Commercial, I'm just like this. I just close my eyes.
I'm surprised you didn't say Pit Vipers as being your number one glasses.
I've never worn a pair of Pit Vipers. If we need someone to talk about that, we'll have to invite Austin on here to talk about the pros and cons to Pit Vipers.
I could see like SteveO, not work SteveO, but like just hanging out SteveO on the beach with his like khaki cargo pants and Pit Vipers. I could see that.
That's a possibility. That is the cargo pants are definitely going to be there.
That's right. What was it last year? You were so angry. I think we did something and you were like, I wear these cargo. This is all I wear. They were like camo cargo shorts, and they were just so mad.
No. That was when we went to Florida and we were on a one of those taxi boats, and it was pouring rain, and the only thing that was out was like my uncovered knees, and we thought it was going to be warm, and we got completely soaked. It
We're
was
stuck on a boat in the dumps.
you, John, Austin, and I on a boat, completely soaked. Walked into a nice restaurant, completely soaked and dried off while sitting in the chairs. Like,
so great. It was great. And we didn't even care. Like, we should have cared more than we did, but we were just like, whatever.
Yeah, that was a fun time. Rain in Florida is so much different than like rain in Colorado. Rain in Colorado is super quick. Rain in Florida is like a freaking downpour. It's insane.
That's how it is here. It either downpours or does nothing. There's no like in between here.
Yeah, man. Question from Evan. First one here. I feel awkward asking customers to use their bathroom, so I keep a bucket in my truck instead. I drink a lot of water and pee every hour. Is this normal? Well, peeing every hour is, how old are you? That would be the first question. Yeah, because I know I worked with some older fellows, and it was pretty regular on the hour. They had to go to the van and use the Gatorade bottle. But if you're peeing every hour, I would check out just to make sure your sugar count is good. Oh, you're 21. Yeah, I would definitely make sure that your sugar count is good, because sometimes high pee, and if you're really thirsty, can mean you have diabetes. Not to like, I'm not a doctor, but
welcome to Monday Night Live Chat. You just got diagnosed with diabetes.
I'm so sorry, Evan.
Or an enlarged prostate, and both of those are not good answers. So,
oh yeah, but that shouldn't be happening at 21. But at the same time, I'll be honest with you, I have never had an issue going to the bathroom in a customer's home, and I think you're completely opposite, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't to this day, like not just window cleaning. I don't go to the bathroom anywhere but my house.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, I will go to the bathroom anywhere. I was at a home today. I went to the bathroom twice.
And I go to an office every day. And I there are times where I'll like rush home. I'll be like, oh, 5 o'clock, come on.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I had a friend like that who we went to a football camp, and the kid didn't poop for 6 days. And yeah, it was hurting by the time he got home.
That's when I go on vacation. Yeah. By like day 3, I stop eating because my body's like, hey, there's no more room. I can't do nothing.
Oh man. No, dude. You gotta let it be free, man. Let it be free.
Question from Victor. He says, SteveO, how is married life treating you?
Married life is great.
Anything, as somebody who's been married for a long, long time, look over your shoulder before you say anything.
The door's
closed. She's not standing there, then you're good.
No, it's great. It's awesome. We've been together though for what now? Almost be going on 7 years. So for us, we just did everything very reverse. Like bought a home, had a baby, and then got married and just did a small wedding. So it's been very nice. I appreciate you asking. It's huge. So yeah, it's great. It's good stuff.
That was the most heartfelt explanation. Yeah.
Well, you
got a piece of paper, neat.
Yeah, whatever, All right, back to window cleaning questions.
Let's be real quick honest. Marriage is for women though, so like we're just there.
It's kind of true.
Like if any guy's like, oh my gosh, it was amazing, then
Yeah. It's kind of those things where I remember I told her, I said, you just plan it the way you want it, and I'll take care of the finances, and that's the way
I'll show up on time, and that's my guarantee.
Yeah.
Boom.
It's crazy to me though, like how much that industry has become such a business. Like that, I mean, when we looked at venues, not to go into this, but it was like 40,000-50,000 for stuff around here, and that's just insane.
For a party.
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like your birthday. Imagine you were turning like 40, it was a big birthday for you or whatever. You would not spend $40,000 on a birthday, and you only turn 40 once.
Yeah. But you only get married once, hopefully.
Yeah. Here's a question to the group. Just tell me if you're married or single. Say one word, either married or single. And I want to know. I want to get a range of everybody.
And either way, just like the video too, if you're married or single.
And if you didn't know yet, another shameless plug for SteveO. He's only 21 subs away, which I know you're checking it right now. You might have gotten some new subscribers, but if you're not subscribed, he's 21 subs away from 30,000 subscribers. So if you're not subscribed, literally it's free. Just click subscribe to his YouTube channel. And there you go.
I'd appreciate it. Let's get back to some window cleaning related questions, but we're talking about ladders. Ladders are always fun to talk about. Yeah. Thomas asked, what is the best option for high interior ladder work? I would tell you that stack ladders are great inside just because they're so adaptable. I'll use either stack ladders or I will use a 20-foot extension ladder. A lot of people though do not like taking extension ladders into houses. And that's why stack ladders are a little bit easier to get around in a home, is because you can unstack them and bring them around. So I would definitely say that for like interior work, you're probably going to be best to go off of a stack ladder. Super, super high, like, over what recommended length for a stack ladder at max is 21 feet. I know people go over it, but you're not supposed to. But like 28 feet, you may want to look at something like a Warner extension ladder or a loose fill extension ladder, something like that.
You know what I hate is the noise extension ladders make as you're walking them through the house, because everybody around you thinks you're just hitting things, but it's just like the ladder feet wiggling. Like cling, cling, cling.
Or when your ladder levelers get all rusty, and then every time you move them, it's just
yeah. I'm more paranoid of what everybody else is thinking in the house than people probably don't care, but that's all I can think. Switch to stacks and never have that again.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. Let's see here. GPW.26 need to do a construction clean. There's paint on the frames of the interior glass. Would you recommend plastic razors to remove the paint splatter? Man, I hate this question because frames suck.
Yeah. There's 100 ways to do it, and most of them suck on most frames. You have to try it. Like, there's no one way, and I can say probably most times that I've found that I've told the builder, like, we don't take paint off frames, because I'm not dealing with because you open up to every liability on they're turning keys over. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I always remember a construction clean I had at an Acura dealership. And this was a company we worked with regularly and did always inside, but we were doing inside out of this dealership. Got down with the full inside. They were doing the walk around and they were looking at the frames like, well, what are you doing about the frames? I was like, it's not included. It's never included in these quotes at all. I said, if you want those frames cleaned, you can pretty much quadruple our bid. And then that's the time we're going to take on that. And he's like, okay, I'll have my people do it. Cause they were just like a janitorial company that could only go like hand high. I was like, we always wipe everything down, but I was like, you're talking about so much more work here. And I'm not experienced in, what that would really take. And it's a lot of work. So they were sitting there with their plastic ID cards that they use to get into their building, just scraping off the different stuff off the frames, just scratching it everywhere. I was like, that's why. Here's
a question. Do you think that you've ever has anybody tried to ever entrap you? Like make you do something that that they were just, I'll tell you the story. You tell me if this makes sense. I got a job one time and we got there and they said that the window cleaners before us left the job site. So they needed it done, like literally had like a day or two. I'm like, well, first off, why did they leave? Like they said, they just weren't qualified. That's what they said. So we showed up, literally pulled everybody off, all the jobs, almost everybody showed up to this place and every frame was destroyed. They took real metal razor on metal black frames and just did this to all of them. And I got there and there was probably a good maybe third of the job that had that. And the rest was just unclean still. And I'm 99% sure that they called us there because the people before, I imagine they weren't a real company and they didn't have any kind of thing to fall back on. They called us to come in so that they could say, hey, this happened. Like, we can't prove it was the other guy. We just walked. I literally pulled everybody off and we just went and that was it. We ate food and went home that day. Wow. I'm pretty sure they were trying to entrap us so they could like claim it on our insurance because it made no sense on why they were so destroyed on this thing. Like this is a brand new property. There's no way they could have turned it over.
Wow. I've never had, I'd say I never have had anything like that. I've had some weird customer times where a customer that I've talked about before on here, where they claimed that we like chipped a mirror and then blackmailed us on like different social medias and different stuff like that. It was really interesting to me though, in that when I first went there, she had told me right away, oh, a window cleaner in the past broke a seal and had to replace a window. And I was like, well, like, what did he use? They're like some sort of water brush. And I was like, well, I'm going to be using a water fed brush on the outside.
And it doesn't break seals.
And I was like, it does not break seals at all. And I should have known like right then and there, like that's a bad sign, because if anyone experienced could teach a homeowner, like, no, like this happens. Like it's not anything to do with water fed pole, unless this guy just like cockeyed his water fed pole and like banged it into the glass and, cracked something. But yeah, that sucks though. I mean, someone like really trying to actually just get you to pay for something that you did not have any part of or doing.
Yeah. I had the feeling it could have been totally wrong, but the whole thing was super weird. It was just super weird. Like he just was like, the other company wasn't qualified. That's why they left, and the stuff was destroyed. But like I don't know. Anyway, I got out of that.
Yeah. Let's see here. Oh, Epic Exteriors asked, are the stack ladders strong? Is it bouncy? Here's the deal, is that stack ladders are only recommended to go 4 sections high. Like seriously, like that is from them. That is it. You will see posts. I remember a company, I'm not going to say who they are so they don't get in trouble, but it was out of a Western state. And I used to see pictures of freaking like 6 or 7 stacked, and those will like go. Yeah. It just goes up and like just gets parallel. And some people are made for it. Some people aren't. That's the only thing. But I mean, even on like a 28-foot extension ladder, if you're like really razoring a window hard, you get a little bounce in there, you know, it's not a bad thing. So
ladders are OSHA rated though. So anything that a ladder is rated for is 4 times that. So when you see a type 1, like 300-pound ladder, that means it's technically able to withstand 1,200 pounds before it breaks. It's OSHA standard. It's got to be 4 times. So when you see these ratings on ladders, don't look at them and be like, "Ooh, this is a 200. It's a rating for 200. Like, I'm 201. I might like, if it's 200, that means it's 4 times. It's 800 pounds before it breaks."
Yeah. Here's a good question from Jordan that I've actually never thought about. What do you guys do with your pins on your stacks when they are not being used? Do you have something you use to secure them so they're not clinking around? Gosh, I have never thought about that. And I'm going to tell you guys something bad. That is because I removed the pins.
All right, guys, that's the show for tonight.
No, don't take. But I've actually, my first 2 sets that I ever used didn't have pins. Just didn't have them, and that was from a company, and that was somebody I worked for, and that's what I was given. So I don't know.
Well, like gravity really works where you don't need the pins. It's just like a secure measure. Like they got to get sued so many times with stack ladders, like from people doing them wrong. And that's why no stack ladder companies exist. So,
well, too, you know, one of the things that can happen though of not pinning that I've actually seen happen is that someone has it up against something, and the I always going to say this wrong, like the bonnet or whatever, basically caught like a hook or just something, and the top section comes off the other section, and boom, you pull it down, and there's just a section dangling and then falls. And I've seen that happen on houses and stuff. So that's the bad part about not doing the pins, I think, is more about that rather than it actually, I don't know, because I don't know what would happen when you're actually on it and it's all like, you know, good together. I guess it's just the point of actually securing that and knowing that it's secure.
Yeah. If you're walking around with it, I mean, you could just literally put the pins back in the holes, right? I mean, depending on if you have yoke holes instead of the rung holes or whatever.
Yeah. So, but stack ladders are great. I mean, they've been around for how long do you think stack ladders been around for?
Man, I mean, I know people with wooden stack ladders, so they've been around a long, long time. I mean, you look at like ladders from back in the day when you see the old black and white photos, I think some of those are even stacks.
Wow. You know how you can tell it's spring is we have less watchers than we had all winter.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I would tell you this though, if you're watching this tomorrow, that's a good thing, because that means y'all are busy. It means you're either tired and don't want to even think about window cleaning anymore tonight. So you're deciding that you're not going to tune in. But next time you need to tune in for the live.
You have to. You have to.
You have to. It has to.
I know, but there's a bunch of people in here that are all putting comments out, so that's super, super rad.
Yes.
Thanks to KT's, like going Jordan's talking a ton. There's a whole bunch of people in there that are talking, so it's awesome.
Ooh, let's see what people think about this. And if you have this piece of equipment, let us know your thoughts on it between the two. Epic Exterior Services asks, for those that have the Xero silencer, do you like the silencer or the grackle? So if you guys don't know, the silencer basically had like the tip jar feature on it, and then the grackle doesn't. So they're handmade by maker, but now it's just a little bit different. What do you think?
I don't understand the tip jar part of it. There was just like a whole lot of stuff for no reason. Like never ever did I think it was an inconvenience where I like would open up the bucket here instead of tipping it out. Like the only time I would ever empty it out is when you walk back to the truck to dump it out. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't get it. So the grackle, as far as that goes, is makes more sense to me.
And I've used, from his original idea. I still have it. And that was the tip jar thing. The tip jar is super nice, like, because the way that it works, you can get a lot of solution built up in there, but being able to tip out the bottom is nice. But I totally get what you're saying too, in that, like, it's so easy just to like tip the whole thing every time you go outside and get rid of that solution. But it's also a nice place where you can put a squeegee in. And that's what I really liked about it, that I always used it, is I had like a squeegee in that slot and everything. So
yeah. I also used buckets on a belt for 15 years where none of them did that, everyone. So I just was like maybe used to it, I guess.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Now, did you have bruised knees because of your bucket on the belt?
I didn't have bruised knees.
That's something people really tried to say a lot when this whole, like, when was this? This was back in when, like, the gunslinger, the big debate between the samurai. It was so funny. And this was like when I was making a lot of content about it too. And people would say, man, the plastic bucket on the belts, they bang the back of your knees, bang the front of your knees. I'm like, how hard are you walking at work to make this happen? Like, literally. How do you have
going to work? Well, I also have I've only had one person ever say this, and he says that every single person that he has working for him does this, but wore a hole in the bottom of his bucket on a belt. Every bucket on a belt he has, they wore holes in the bottom of it from, like, must be kneeling down and it touching the concrete.
Wow. That takes a lot of kneeling down, though. That's like kneeling down and then dragging
and
to
like
the next
crawling
window.
around. I don't know how that is even possible.
Wow. Yeah. I do not know. I think I know who you're talking about too. Now here's something interesting, and I would like to hear from anybody in California. And this is what I've heard from everybody out there, that everything has just been super slow this winter. 524 pressure washing said too much rain in California right now. These clients don't want to commit. And I've heard that from quite a few people in California. Yeah. The weather,
they're not used to any rain. So there's like their rain for them is like snow in the south. They freak out, and it's been just a ton.
Yeah. Craig says, I have two silencers. I see no reason to get a grackle, but I don't like the name. Doesn't sound cool.
Yeah.
It's a bird.
Is that what it is? It's a bird?
It's a bird. Yeah.
Oh, grackle.
Yeah. Type of bird. Yeah.
Yeah. He is a big bird watcher, by the way. I didn't know that, but he's like a legit, like, binocular, go on trips kind of guy.
Oh yeah. Big time camera, everything. Him and all of his brothers are like that. So yeah, that's where it comes from. So got to let the manufacturer make the name, I guess. You got to be passionate about it. That's the way it's got to be. Yeah. But yeah, look at this. Like SoCal, San Diego, super, super slow. Man, that stinks. That really, really stinks.
Yeah. You know what it is, though? They're going to get into that 3 months of solid. They're not going to have rain for 3 months. So it'll come back. It's just you're having a winter. This is how winter kind of works for a lot of the other places.
It's true. This is very normal for the rest of the country. So this is the first time experiencing it. Like, you get to take some time off and just kind of relax. Yeah.
You're still getting 12 inches of snow. Like, it's first day of spring, and you probably got snow in the forecast.
Yeah, we got snow. Let's see here. We have snow later on this week, but it's nice. Like, it's 50s.
Is it on Wednesday?
Huh?
Is it on Wednesday?
Oh, yeah. They have some snow planned for Wednesday.
So the trend continues.
Yep. It's a big trend here. Epic Exterior Services asked, this is a good question for you, Josh. I don't know why. Question, 12-inch or 18-inch water-fed pole brush?
12-inch.
Yeah.
100%.
Why?
It's just easier.
Bigger's not better? What?
It's just easier. It's easier. You don't have so much weight. It's not as cumbersome to move around. And a smaller brush, like a smaller channel, you just get better coverage. Where, like, if you're using like a 36-inch channel, those edges don't really do much, So
right.
I like the 12-inch. But I did a live today with John Lee, who had the CWC brush that's coming out that we're bringing in. And that is actually a real size block. So a 12-inch, instead of being a 10-inch block, is an actual 12-inch block. So 12-inch is going to be a 12-inch. So might be beneficial to get that. It's going to be bigger than a 12-inch, even though it's a 12-inch.
Nice. So it's a 12-inch block with like a 14-inch splay?
Pretty much, yeah. Still considered a 12-inch. I think the only one that really considers their 12-inch a 12-inch is Tucker. It's a 10-inch block, but they consider it a 12-inch.
Right.
But they also do that with like the height of their pole. They're 30-inch or 30-foot poles, like 26 feet. Yeah.
Yeah. Odd. Oh, good though. House cleaning is happening. That's good. Good. Busy in Mississippi. Man. Does everybody go ahead?
I was going to say, I have a quick question. So we're in spring. Spring starts. When is the season of spring slowed down for everybody? I'd like to know that because in Wisconsin, our spring started very, very late, but still slowed down around the 4th of July, which I find everyone seems to slow down around the 4th of July and that like dog days of summer, but yet our season was really compact. So, does Florida, are those guys worried about July 4th, or is that still goes right through there?
Well, shoot, I think Florida, what they take most of the summer is they don't even work like crazy.
Yeah. We're just doing commercial pretty much then.
Yeah. But I know here it was the same thing. Like we're super busy all the way through July 4th. Like sometimes we work July 4th and then boom for 5-6 weeks after. Yeah. Katie, then tell us. He says, no, it's not true. I would like to know. I'd like to know what goes on. Pretty decent route. I stay busy. Nice.
You're back to route, are you?
Yep. Route 66.
I did that for a week.
Oh man. You know what? There's so much evidence out there that it's just what I say is correct. Actually, I have to, a customer of mine, Jason, back like this was, I think this was back in September. He had sent me a thing. If you search it on Google and you put in like, what is the right terms? It will almost tell you root is it. Like it can be said, it can be said both ways. It's just, some people want to be technical and say route.
It could be both ways, the right way, the wrong way, the one clip, the two clip, whatever, You
know what that's funny is I've said that since I started doing root work back in my first year of root work was in 2012. So, and then I started saying that. I remember when I started working with my old partner, Jim, and I said that, he's like, you mean route? I was like, no, root. Like, and he never fought it ever again. Never. Yeah. He said it one time like that and never fought it again. Didn't care. But because it's true, it's the real way.
It's just, I've not ever heard anybody say it like that. So it just catches me off guard. It's probably very common. I just haven't, heard
it. Happens all the time.
Every time you say it, my ears go, what was that? Root?
And still from episode 1 till now, it's something that's dying out though, is this whole 1 clip, 2 clip thing. That's, people are just know that the 2 clips is the way to go. They have tried your 1 clip method after you mentioned it over a year ago.
I can't tell you how many people have said, hey, don't tell Steve. So I'm not going to use their names. But I tried 1 clip and it's absolutely phenomenal. I never knew this. I've been a window cleaner for 5 years. I've been a window cleaner for 10 years. I've always used 2 clips. Now using 1 clip, everything changed over. It's a game changer.
And then they call you next year and they say, wow, I lost my whole entire customer base because this dang it 1 clip thing.
Yeah. Then they call you and they're like, they're like, hey, I just told Jersey this whole thing. Don't listen to them. I'm just blowing smoke. It's 1 clip. It's
that is what it is.
The only thing, can we both agree though that no clips using the Unger is the worst?
I actually like that. I used that today at the house I did today. I had an Unger 14-inch, the Black Series one. It flows nicely. Those flow nicely. They don't get in the corners great. They make some rainbows here and there, but man, they're smooth.
Yeah. That's my biggest pet peeve was like anytime I have to use an Unger handle, I love the Ninja, but like a regular Ergotech with those like weird ribbed for your pleasure handle thing. I didn't like that.
What?
It's got like the bumps on the handle. It's like the cheap handle. That's all I always think about. Like the T-Bar had it.
Oh, yes. Those handles stink. Yes, I 100% agree with you. Those are super, super cheap feeling. But like okay.
I just, at that point, when I started using them, I'm like, I'm not using Unger anymore. Not that Unger's a bad product. They're a quality product, but.
Our quality. Hey, real quick, Craig asked, can we get WCR to offer that 3/8 rubber tubing like the color 5/16 inch tube? The flow in 3/8 Unger tube so much better than 5/16. Isn't it true though that the Unger N-Light hose has the same inner diameter as the Xero hose?
Yeah, absolutely, the exact same.
Yeah,
it's 3/16 ID and it's 5/16 OD on ours, and it's 3/8 on theirs because theirs is wrapped.
Yeah,
which because they're Unger, they have to overdo things.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
I get that not all the time. I've gotten a couple times where people are like, "You got to go to the 1/4 inch; it's so much better," and that is a difference of 1/16. 1/16 of an inch is a difference between a 5/16 OD and that 3/8 or a 1/4 inch ID.
I think though where people are really wanting like so what would a 3/8 hose, if that didn't have a wrap around it, maybe the inner diameter would be 5/16?
No, so there's a 1/4 inch option, 1/4 inch ID, and a 3/16 ID. That's what's common, right? So the difference between those two, and the 1/4 inch, Tucker used a 1/4 inch ID for a while, and they switched over to 5/16 like 2 or 3 years ago. And then there's some Pure Water Power stuff that was running on a 1/4 inch ID, not the 3/16. So this 1/4 is more common as far as like fittings and stuff, but it's a 1/16 of an inch difference. And when people are like, it's like night and day, it's like hard to believe that, but I could see it.
Yeah.
But it's also, changing that feed hose to a 3/8 is where you really, really see the difference.
Right, exactly. But I think I know we've been looking though at, a possible situation, because a lot of people have suggested it, as far as I think people really enjoy the Viper hose. I believe that was what it was called, that CWC. So definitely working on it as far as that stuff goes, but nothing right now. Carlos asked, what is this one clip method? You don't need to know about it. It's not a big deal. You basically mess up your whole squeegee just so that you can somewhat.
I would love to hear SteveO explain what it is.
Oh man, I could explain it if you want me to.
I can explain it right on the ground.
Here is the deal, Carlos. If you use one clip, customers aren't going to come back.
What it is actually is, how a channel, when you get them, they come with 2 clips, but you only need 1 clip because the rubber is supposed to float in the channel. So 1 clip holds it from moving. 2 clips, then you're forcing the rubber to be however it is, stretched or loose in between those 2 clips. If you have only 1, the rubber sits flat and you have such better results, less chasing streaks and smears, just a better feel altogether. I'd like to say that the more intelligent window cleaners are running 1 clip.
Wow. What a heap of poop. My thing is, do we really want to go over this? Yes. Is that, so if you have 2 clips in there, if you do 1, this is only in like channels that carry like a brass clip, is that if you do one side, your other side is technically just a little bit lower. So it raises a side. So what you'll always see with this is you'll see way more rainbow streaks on your glass, which you've told me you've never seen on one of your windows. But I know, because every window cleaner I've ever worked with, including myself, has left a rainbow streak. Everybody. But it's okay. You never looked at the window after you cleaned it. That's fine.
I'm wearing those glasses you're talking about.
But if the other clip is in there and now the rubber's even, it's fine. Now, this is only in channels with like round rubber. If you have, let's say, a sorbo channel, it's not going to matter, because the way that the rubber sits in there is so, let me see if I can get this correct. Oh man, let me get out of the picture. I don't know. It's just different the way that it's in there, and that it doesn't matter. So a sorbo, I would do it in, but anything with a round rubber, I would definitely have 2 clips if it's a clip system. That's my spiel. I could create a video on it, but I don't want to.
By the way, I have to give Jacob where Jacob gets cred, and he said that rainbow streaks aren't real.
They are, and I've actually seen Jacob do it in the video that he cleaned at Burger King, and his rubber wasn't moving, and at that moment, he left a big old rainbow streak on that Burger King, and I know it. I don't even have to be there. I can just see it. I can just know exactly when it happens. When your rubber stops moving on the glass and is not smooth, rainbow streak. It happens all the time. I could literally go out with any window cleaner, no matter how many years they've been cleaning, and I could find it on every single job. But the great thing is customers don't ever see it, because it's in an area.
Doesn't it dry? Like, huh? I've never, even if I would have seen one at some point or noticed it, I had to, but it just dries, right?
No, it doesn't dry. It dries, but if you look at it from an angle, it's just this big old freaking streak. Seen that. but it's not like a when you have a bleeding streak of a squeegee and you have the bleed come off the rubber, and say you're cleaning something super, super dirty and you leave those lines. That's different. This is like
what's there's got to be one difference between how you cleaned and how I cleaned. One kind of difference that would make you have rainbow streaks and me not. I don't know what it is.
I saw it everywhere. I just saw it everywhere. Jacob, I could just find them everywhere. I just know it. I just feel it in my soul that there would be so many. It would be like, it's everywhere.
I have the greatest idea for chat in the chat right now, and Jacob gave me this. Thank you, Jacob. But it's what's like the greatest window cleaning myth. That's what I want to know. Because like some people don't believe fabricating debris, but then other people don't believe that like you can even use razors. Some people think you can't razor anything. Some people think that if you put Dawn ammonia, sodium hypochlorite and you mix like 30 things and it's way better.
Yeah. I mean, gosh, what do you, I'd like to hear what you guys think. Jacob says, I'm a myth. I'm not real. I'm a myth. That's it.
I don't want to give this to you guys, but since you're watching, I'm going to give you a little trip. SteveO is actually Chris Lamborghini's.
This is true. This is real. This is true.
Alex, everybody thought Alex and Chris were the same person. It's actually Chris and you are the same person. Alex is just his own person.
Yep. I go many places every day. I'm not in Colorado right now. It's crazy. That's right. It's a crazy thing.
If it was anybody but Chris, he would have gotten a new camera that didn't autofocus every 3 seconds. But
that's true.
Just doesn't care.
Hey, real quickly, somebody asked a great question here. JR Unknown. Resharpen your rubber with a docket or anything similar. The docket is, you can use that with technically any squeegee rubber. It's just a big investment and time. I find it to be very easy just to replace your rubber, to cut them down a little bit and use it that way. But it's up to you, really. If you want to recycle rubbers, the docket is definitely a good thing. But the docket is made so if you know what this answer is, what is 3x4 times? What does the 3x4 stand for on a SteveO channel?
Yeah, and I wish I had the channel to show people that don't know the sides to kind of explain the why the notches are there.
Do you know what that means? You know what that means, don't you?
Yeah. But you tell us.
What does it mean?
It's the times that you can cut with the docket. But the reason the SteveO exists, show the side of it so you can see the profile of what they're talking about. You see those little notches in there. SteveO, the idea of SteveO came out with that way back, and you can kind of see it to the left side of his thing, those little notches. Every time you cut it, you move it up a notch so that it's the same length of rubber extending, which is pretty shock. I mean, when you think about that, it's all the stuff that people just overlook this whole time. But that's really the reason why that whole thing the whole system was made.
Yeah, no, and I've never cut them down before, but it's just something I guess I wouldn't do, because I just recycle them down by cutting ends off,
Do you? I was just going to say, I just heard of that for the first time ever. Like 2 days ago, somebody said that they do their 18s, then turn into 14s.
We talked about this before.
Have we?
We totally chat about this. Yeah, because the thing is, like, that's why I'm such a proponent of the Unger green rubber, is that it's the one rubber that doesn't really wear out in the middle, like at all. Like, you won't get any bleeding. Yeah. And that rubber, why the 18-inch, even though they're most expensive 18-inch rubbers, you can make that rubber last for such a long time that it almost turns it into one of the most inexpensive rubbers if you use it right.
Yeah. Are you using the Ronin cutters?
Oh, yeah. I've been using Ronin cutters for years.
Those things are really, really nice.
Yeah.
I thought they were gimmicky until I used one.
No, hands down the best. And you don't realize it until you get it and you're using your scraper on the back of your truck bed trying to get an even cut, and you mess up one little part. There's just a little piece of rubber sticking out, leaving a line everywhere. And
your scraper blade's chipped.
Yeah. You cut your hand and motion up. Let's see here. What else we got here, man? How much should a two-man cream? How much should a two-man crew bring in a day? What do you think? Jacob,
much as a two-man cream, I guess. This will vary because of all services. So house washing goes in twos, roof cleaning goes in twos, window cleaning residential goes in twos, commercial minimally is twos, route is one. So it's like different crews do different things. Roof cleaning you'll be doing $250 an hour. That's $500 a crew hour, but residential window cleaning may be only $150 an hour for the whole crew.
Yeah. I think what we always try to hit with two people was always try to hit that $1,000 a day. Like that had to be made. It wasn't always made. There were bad days, but like anything over that was a nice day for two people, because we always try to keep that during when we were working. It was like at least a $50 man hour for, people who weren't owners or managers, but that always seemed to work out pretty nice.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a good number. There's something called sexy numbers where your brain likes it. Like the number 999 is a better number than 1,000, right? When you're talking about on the opposite side of like, something's cheap at 999, but it's expensive if it's 1,000, right? In your brain, 1,000 is that number. It's always that bigger number to make it. So 1,000 is probably what you see a lot of people in the industry do, like an even number, like 750, right? If they're a one man, maybe they're trying to get to that 500 mark or whatever it is. Everybody's got those marks that just sound good.
Yeah. Yep.
But they all equal off the two. How many of us have had days where I've had days where one crew brought in $2,200 for one crew, and it just happened to be one of those things where it was like that job was a little bit overpriced, but yet it could have went bad, but it didn't, went really smooth, And then there's other days where you come back and you're like, what? How did that job take you 4 hours? We had it slated for an hour. Like how?
Yeah. It happens. Hey, here's a good question from KD. Have any of you guys used those Corkers shoe inserts? For instance, they have foam inserts that allow you to walk a little safer on metal roofs. I have not.
Yeah, Corkers are like Puma paws or Puma tiger, whatever those other things.
Cougar paws?
There you go. Yeah. Those are the same concept where if you ever watch roofers, they use like foam from mattresses. And the foam, because of the way that there's the texture on the texture, it just makes so much contact, they don't move. It's the same concept with these. So I've not used the ones on a metal roof. I haven't walked metal roofs terribly much, probably once or twice. So for me, it just wasn't a big thing. But
well, I'll tell you what, the metal roofs are really starting to be put on homes so much more.
Really?
That, especially out here. Like the whole neighborhood across me, that's all they have. There's no shingles. So walking on any roof, like even, you don't have exactly the right shoe and you have a little bit of water, like go onto the roof while you're cleaning the window and you just move and you slip immediately. So I try to water fit as much stuff with that, or kind of reach out, clean the window and do something like that to stay safe. But it's definitely pretty risky with that.
What about Cedar Shake? Do you have Cedar Shake by you?
No. Hardly any of that ever.
I got a guy that I know on the Cape, and he is almost exclusively Cedar Shake there. And I've seen one Cedar Shake in all my life. I've never walked it. I just saw it.
Right. Yeah. Is that the same thing even like towards the coast where they'll make a whole home out of it? Like the whole siding will be it?
Too. Yeah.
Yeah.
But now what they do when they put it in is wood splits in the grain and put a nail in there. So if you step on that and the nail's in the grain, it can pull out. It's like those tile roofs. If you've ever walked in tile roofs, I have a great tile story, by the way. One time we put the skinniest guy we had, he was like 110 pounds wet on a tile roof. And he stepped his first step off the ladder, went tink, and he stopped and he got back on the ladder. And I swear he cracked that tile in 10 places. One tile. Yeah. So never, ever again did I ever go on a tile roof ever.
I've broken some tiles in my days.
Anybody on a roof tiles has.
I can't seem to remember. Every time I get up there and start walking around, I'm like, hey, where do I step again? And I step in the wrong place. I'm like, okay, it's not the place to step. Just put that back together.
So I was just gonna say, here's the truth of the question. Nobody listen if you're watching. Do you tell the homeowner that you broke a tile?
I think it's best just so that they know.
Okay.
Sucks.
Other than thinking it's best, have you ever not told the homeowner that?
I have not told the homeowner to. Yes, that is true. I was once on a very large job, and I mean, I walked, I bet on 100 of them before this one broke. And when it broke, I kind of put it back together. That's such a bad story to tell. And I put
This
it
is
back
old
together.
Steve-O. This is young.
Yeah.
He was wet behind the ears.
I go down to the driveway and I just look up and I'm like, I can't even see it. I can't even tell where it is. And that was it.
So their house leaked and their roof collapsed.
I don't know.
But
Yeah, you know. So yeah, but it happens.
I was told about a roof. So I said we never walked on tiles after that. There was one more roof like a year later after that guy was no longer in the company that somebody decided to try to walk on a roof and broke tile or tiles was what they said. But they never told me about it until the customer contacted me like a year later and was like, "Hey, weird question. Did you walk on a roof?" And I'm like, "Well, no, because it was tile. We didn't. That was our policy. We didn't walk on roofs." Like, no. Like, if it's tile roofs, we don't mess with it. We only had like probably 6 or 7 tile roofs like our entire time. We had slate roofs too, but just tile roofs wasn't a lot of them. I'm like, no, that isn't a thing. And after we got off that, the guy, one of my operations managers, was like, actually, he did. He went up there. He thought he could do it, and he broke. I'm like, well, now I already told them that's like not our policy. Like, what am I going to do now? Call them back and say like they were like trying to find where it was happening. Just that they thought they had like hail damage, I guess, can cause it. So like the roofer was trying to do whatever. But then I felt like a real piece of garbage because I lied to the customer, but I didn't know that I was lying to the customer. But
yeah,
you try to be as good as you can, but sometimes that happens.
Well, you see though, like you see these guys in Florida sometimes. This is where I've seen the videos of people using a surface cleaner on Spanish tiles, and I always watch that. Like, how are you not falling off? How is this not breaking? And you see them going all the way to the edge. There's a video that there's on some channel on YouTube, and it has millions and millions of views. And there's this guy that's just doing a whole rooftop. And I'm always shocked by that, just thinking, how is nothing breaking?
How is your bar not hitting on a when every time you drop down? How is the bar not hitting?
Right. Yeah. Oh well, not for us, huh?
So we have 10 more minutes in this video, but if you're watching now and you're not subscribed to SteveO, he literally has 21 more people he needs to be 30,000 subscribers. So if you're watching, do a favor and just sub or share his content or share this out there just so people can find it, because 30,000 is a pretty rad number. So
you might need 22 because I'm pretty sure Jacob unsubscribed. So
he may have unsubscribed.
He may have.
I see that.
That's okay. That's all right. He'll come back. He'll be back. Carlos had a good question. How do you keep your rubbers from leaving streaks in the middle of the channel? Cold weather question. Happens to all of my channels and rubbers that I use even after replacing rubbers with new ones. My first winter. Your first winter is going to be your most difficult winter, because winter is just all about going out there and getting it clean, not perfect. And you will always have bleeding during the winter. It's probably the question that I get the most when it starts getting colder, is that you just see a lot more stuff come off the rubber. During the summer, same stuff is coming off the rubber. It just dries so quick you don't see it. So also, you could be using just a little bit too much force. So maybe just lighten it up a little bit, and that could help you. What would you say?
You're pushing maybe too hard also. One of the big things that people do that I've seen, because I've asked people where they're having issues, and I send them a video, and they're pushing so hard that the rubber's folded all the way back down and almost flat on the glass. All you need, especially in cold weather, is just that tip. If this is the glass, just the tip on here. You don't want the whole thing folded down like that. If you're pushing too hard, you're going to have a lot of bleed back. Go really, really light. I promise you don't need pressure. The water comes off because of the rubber and the glass.
Yeah. Real quickly, go back to tiles.
Yeah.
Have you 524 pressure washing just mentioned this because we were talking about using a surface cleaner on tiles. Now it is a huge market in the UK of all of these water-fed poles that have an attachment for a surface cleaner, and they're building up scaffolding. I can't ever say that right. And basically using a surface cleaner from a water-fed pole and cleaning all these roofs and then treating it with like biocide or something like that to keep the growth down. But there's 2 huge channels on YouTube that are all about that. And it's a crazy thing. But I'm wondering if it's ever going to come to the US. I've never seen anything like it in the US.
I don't see a ton of tiles here. I mean, I know I'm not in the tile. I mean, it's probably like a southeast like, United States or whatever. But yeah. I don't know that it's that big of a thing. And then here's the other thing is that in the UK, it rains a lot. So they have tiles and rain, and you get algae. And here where we have tile roofs, it's all like, you know, Arizona, New Mexico, that type of place. Well, it's so hot that there's no algae on those roofs. So it may just not be something in our area for that.
Yeah. If you guys want to check out channels like A. Macintosh and then Prestige, he's been on here a couple of times as far as commenting, has a huge one. So yeah. Let's see here. Dom asked, do you recommend Unger Green rubber? I love it. Yes. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It's the best rubber to recycle down through channels for sure.
Here's a question for you. Do you see, or let me rephrase this. What do you see the biggest difference between a rubber and a silicone is when you're using it? Like your feel, or your first, whatever.
Most, what I find is a real rubber, like an Ettore Master, there's always a break-in period with it. And once you get that break-in period done, it is just smooth as butter until it's kind of done. But with a silicone rubber, I feel like it's pretty much the same from the start. Like it has your first couple windows, maybe a little bit catchy. But then after that, like everything is good. But most of the time, which I was really shocked about on green rubber, it just sticks everywhere, like just super, super sticky. Unger Green rubber, that's what was always shocking to me, is that it just didn't. Like I've tried Facelift, red rubber. I just wasn't a fan of it. The one other colored rubber that's fine with me though is the blue wagtail. That one's been fine.
It's like a harder though. That's harder than any other silicone. I want to say that wagtail stuff is.
But it's just not. There's something about it that it lasts for a long time. It just rounds off. It doesn't tear on the corners. It's really odd as far as that goes. But yeah, I mean, everything that I've ever noticed though with just normal rubber always has that just that period of kind of getting it going, and then boom, it's good.
Yeah. Here's another question that we're probably not even supposed to talk about yet, but did you try the new rubber by? You haven't gotten a chance? The silicone, the brown tan silicone?
No.
I thought you had it. You said you liked it.
Oh, yeah. We can't talk about that.
No, we can't talk about that. But without saying it, did you like that?
Yes, that was very good.
That was surprising. That was really surprising, where it felt like even the glass that wasn't like, you know how you catch like half a cut of wet, half a cut of dry? Like it felt like the whole channel was still wet.
Yeah, that was super smooth. I don't know what that is, but it's nice, and hopefully someday y'all get to try it.
It's coming out soon. It's coming out soon.
I tested one for that same company many, many years ago, and it felt very similar to that. But then when it came out, it was different. So I'm hoping that this stays consistent.
Well, this is a new iteration of the other stuff that they have. Now it's supposed to be the new iteration, but it feels completely different. The only thing I don't like about it is it really smells like it just smells super chemically.
Oh, it did? I didn't smell it.
Like I had it because I was like talking on the phone playing with it, and my hands smelled like it the rest of the day.
Oh wow. That's odd. Well, don't share that.
Most people aren't sitting there on a phone call for 20 minutes playing with their rubbers either.
Yeah. So this is what I do with like my phone calls, and I'm sitting here thinking, I just play with my Godfather squeegee. Awesome.
Yeah, I have ADD things all over. I have easy snaps, but then I realized that it kept hurting my hands because my easy snaps I just put on and off, and the little barbs would poke in, you know, and I'd have like these weird like sores, and I'm like, oh, it's because I've been playing the stupid easy snap for the whole day.
This right here is the worst thing that I ever bought, because all I do all day is just sit here and just do this. I don't even use it.
Horrible that you have a pop socket on your phone, by the way.
I just love it as far as this goes. It's so nice. Like you could be on a ladder talking on the phone. No, you don't want to do that. AirPods are great. But yeah. A lot of unsafe things tonight.
I washed my AirPods again for like the 50th time. I think they're dead. Time for the like 6th pair.
It's done. Antonio Howell. What new rubber? I don't even know. Were we talking about rubber? I don't even know what happened there. I don't know. Real quickly in the answers or in the comments here, what is your guys' goal for spring? Like, what is the revenue that you want to do for spring? Let's just have fun with it. Even if you throw out a huge number, what are you wanting to do in between first day of spring and the last day of spring?
And this isn't a bragging thing. Don't care what other people think. This is for you. You set a goal, then you can actually achieve it if you set it.
Yes.
I always think that something that's weird, by the way, is when people throw out these weird numbers. We're like, oh, dude, I'm doing like 500,000 this year. You're like, yeah? What kind of advertising you doing? Like, I don't know, man. What? Did you just pull that number out of your butt? Like, who are you trying to impress?
That's what I'm going to do in my company this year. 500.
Just doing 500.
Maybe a mil. You know what's crazy?
Good.
You know what's great? This is my last spring cleaning windows. I didn't talk about that at all.
Allegedly.
It is.
Allegedly.
I've been telling my customers it's done.
You told your customers before, though.
No, I didn't. I've let go of route customers. I've let go of many route customers.
We'll see how many pick up next winter. No one thinks so now.
I got a whole month of route work. Man, I bought a whole entire route all through Denver, everywhere. It's crazy.
I'm gonna have to start cleaning windows again now that SteveO's on the phones more often. It sucks.
Henry asked, "Have you ever tried a construction clean with pole work?" Yeah, you just really can't, man. You need to be nose to glass. If there's something just way out of reach, then yes, I could understand that. But I think it's best just to be up close so you can get everything that's on there. It's just stuff you're gonna miss.
You have to understand your builder though too. I've got some really clean builders where everybody's off the premises before they peel the stickers or they leave the film on there for us. Then they're great. But there's other ones that they put everything that they've ever touched, every booger, every sandwich and peanut butter and jelly on the window. Like it's awful. When they're that bad, you just got to scrape them.
Yeah. Man. 10K profit, my first 30 days of the season. That's awesome. That is awesome.
Here's a question. Jordan said, why not keep going along with employees?
There's just too much else going on. Yeah.
That's what I did. I didn't want to be an IT guy. Like it was running. It was great. But I don't want to be like, what happens then when the top guy has an issue? Like, what do you do? Like you're back in it, you know?
Yeah. Like just imagine with like sales is that we are taking care of, I don't want to say taking care of, but helping just a bunch of people. And that starts right early in the morning. I get text messages sometimes at 5:30 a.m. and it starts then and it will go through 10 p.m. So it's just a very different thing. I would love to keep everything going, but it's just the way things have progressed and I'm happy. Yeah. Like, it's kind of fun to be doing something completely different and learn a whole different side of something else.
One of the things I think people don't get, which is fine too, is that what we do, we kind of like, they see us catch us on a couple lives and they think the rest of the time we're playing video games or something. It's a little bit, the tough part is especially, how much we do. It's very hard to have 100% of your focus on two different things where it sounds really good. Like if things just ran, that would be great. But then what happens when they don't run? You're brought back in it and now you're relearning your business to try to get things back up off the ground. And then because somebody left, your business goes under.
Yep, exactly. And then I'll tell you guys, honestly, in my area, since I haven't been as involved in my window cleaning business, what kind of stinks is that you start turning down so much work that I think after a time of doing that, you start to get a bad rap in your area because you just can't take on work. And I don't want to do that because I do see like way later on in life when my son gets older and stuff, I would love to have him, start a window cleaning company and have him build something and help him do that. But I think that time is then and this time is now as far as, it's all worked out nice.
Yep. Yeah. There's a time and a place, and it's really kind of refreshing to be on the opposite side where you've had your business and now you get to help people with theirs. So
yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Jacob says you are playing video games, Jersey.
I am right now. Right this last hour, I've been nothing but video games.
So here's the deal. We're at the end of our hour. And did you have anything that you would want to share?
In fact, I do.
Oh.
If you haven't yet gotten yourself a subscription to the American Window Cleaner magazine, please do it. I'm tired of begging. Get your subscription. Be absolutely awesome. You guys have sat around watching a podcast about window cleaning. Why not get a magazine about window cleaning? Really nerd out. Be smarter than your competition. Go to awcmag.com. And another thing, SteveO is now only 64 people away from 30,000. People keep dropping, but no, if you have anything, share Steve's content. He's so close to 30,000. I would love to see that happen ASAP. So if you haven't yet, go into a group, share his YouTube page, tell everybody he's so close. Let's get him over 30,000 tonight, and we'll make his day.
I appreciate it. Somebody unsubscribed during this, so that's really sad.
Jacob. No, he said he didn't unsubscribe already.
I knew it. I get a report. I get a text message of every individual that unsubscribes.
Yeah, they should give you a list. This person unsubscribed.
So people do some really bad stuff with a list like that.
Yeah, right.
Alrighty, y'all. Thank you for coming on, and we'll be back in 2 weeks on Monday. Peace.